And good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us once again. My name is Zach Allison. I'm an ATS National Accounts Manager working with engineers and architects, even some design build contractors after the ASPE show last week, all across Canada and also managing our team in the US. If this is your first ATS University, thank you for joining us. Hopefully, you find a valuable conversation today as we dive into the Mission Rubber Company and really kind of take a look at heavy duty couplings overall. ATS University, if this is your first time, is essentially an online training course that we put together for all of the designers and architects and engineers that are on the ATS SpecTool. We provide application-focused discussions, maybe a deep dive into a product, and even some AIA or ASPE accredited CEUs. We'll always be sending out our certificate of attendance after any of the presentations so that if you need to self-report for any of your certification standards, your PEO standards, you have our accredited certificate of attendance to assist you in that endeavor. If this is your first time with ATS and you're wondering what it is we do, essentially we are a product selection and configuration tool. We take data from a number of different manufacturers, about 45 now, all across the plumbing and mechanical world. And we try to clean up that data, make it easily presentable, and allow you to select and configure the product and then download it in any one of our 10 different spec formats. We'll show you how you can find the products that we're discussing later on today on the ATS SpecTool. But I guess without further ado, we'll pass it over to the Mission Rubber team to introduce yourselves. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation. Good afternoon and good morning, everybody. If you're on, not on East Coast time, we're still in good morning. So my name is Rene Carrillo. I am the general manager here at Mission Rubber Company, and I appreciate everybody being online today.
Good afternoon for those on the Central East Coast, and good morning for those of us on the West Coast. My name is Avelia Centeno Aguilar, and I do marketing here for Mission Rubber Company. It's a pleasure to be with all of you.
Thank you. And I guess one final piece of housekeeping before we dive in. As with all of our ATS University sessions, we are going to have this recorded. So we do have everyone muted upon entry. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat fields and the question and answer field. So if you have any questions along the way, please pop them in there. I'll bring them up to Renee and Avelia as we merge our way through the presentation. And then if you have any questions after the fact, if you want to go back and review the presentation, I'll show you how you can find the previously recorded sessions on atsspec.com. With that, we'll pass it over to you, Renee.
All right, sounds good. So again, our company is Mission Rubber Company. We are located in Southern California, exactly in Corona, California. And Zach and I were talking about just about where. We're about an hour east of the LA area, in the beautiful Inland Empire. So we're kind of like heading towards the desert, but still close by to all the major attractions. If you want San Diego, Anaheim, LA, an hour from the mountains. If you want snow, you can go snowboarding in the morning, and then you can go surfing in the afternoon. So it's one of those things that the beauty of California. So, but thank you everybody for being here. So I want to start off with a little bit about Mission Rubber. So since 1958, Mission Rubber has been in existence. Started out with the Garrett family, as they just had a plumbing house. And from the plumbing house, they saw that there was a need for connectors and couplings for different type of pipes. So they started the company in 1958. And for more than 3 generations, we have satisfied customers, making us the leading supplier of high performance code approved products for the construction industry. So everything that we do is basically for commercial construction. So as you can see, we're going on now more than 65 years of existence, and we're still strong in the industry. We do have one of the broadest line of products in the industry. You know, we connect, we adapt, we reduce for, you know, repairing, capping, or testing any type of pipe used in non-pressure gravity flow plumbing. So everything is really for the drain, waste, and vent application. So that's our expertise when it comes to connecting all different types of pipes. What kind of structures you can find us? You know, most of the sales are in the United States and Canada. So like I mentioned, it's all for commercial applications. It could be hospitalities, healthcare, civic auditoriums, schoolwork, federal buildings, stadiums, sports, and also for these multifamily type of residential multi-mix that you have, you know, commercial on the bottom, residential on top. So that's the application mostly of where these couplings and our product is used in. We do take great pride in sourcing all of our product components. So one of the things, you know, our rubber and our stainless steel is all American made. So we do take great pride in made in America, from our stainless steel to our rubber to obviously, you know, all of our labor is done here and is assembled here in Corona, California. So it's very important that, you know, in some of these projects, it's always stated that everything comes from American sources. We're proud of that, and we will continue that trend. One of the things that we do is like, we're pretty much a one-stop shop, you know, so you can buy all the different type of couplings here. We do have from specialty lines to standard no hubs to then also heavyweight couplings. So, you know, if you need to just buy, you don't have to go to multiple sources to get a specialty or a reducer type coupling and then go to another source to get a heavyweight. We manufacture everything here. So it's easier for anybody to just place one PO with all the different types of couplings and sizes and reducers that you have on your order or on your contract that you need to fulfill. So, you know, with that said, we partnered with ATS and Zach, you know, for us to promote a little bit more the product line and in a way that it's easier for cross-referencing or to go into spec work. I think one of the things that we're looking into is to be specified in any type of projects, you know, and have our name there or have our product line there. And ATS is a great partner for this, to also help with cross-referencing when it comes to the different types of couplings and joints, and you cross-reference with other type of manufacturers that are in existence in the US and you want to buy Mission Rubber, it's easier to cross-reference than the product, which I know Zach later on is going to go into how that tool works. So that's why this presentation, because we really wanted this partnership to work, to help not just us, but also help you to be able to, you know, see which is the best fit and what product is the best fit. So to start off, we really just did, we wanted to do 3 different types of lines is what we're starting off with ATS. So the first line is what we call the band seal or specialty coupling. You know, we offer a very wide range of these couplings that'll then be able to connect different type of pipe, transition, and sizes. So again, these couplings are used to connect any similar and dissimilar pipe materials, from cast iron to copper, Schedule 40 plastic, stainless steel, regular steel, tubular, thin wall, and extra heavy cast iron. So these couplings are for those type of projects where, you know, you're going from cast iron to copper or cast iron to plastic, because that's just, you know, how the design is. So we have a very wide range of product line for this. Again, this is all for gravity flow applications, and these particular couplings are for above ground only. Multiple sizes, we go from 3/4 of an inch all the way to about a 12-inch diameter. And everything on our coupling, on this specialty coupling, is a 300 stainless steel Normally, it's just a 2-band, or depending on the size, could be up to a 4-band. Shielded, it's 300 series stainless steel, and our gasket is obviously a elastomeric sealing gasket, which, if everybody knows, the main polymer is polychloroprene. So that's per the standards, that's what is being used. Every product line has installation instructions, as you can see here. All of this is found on our website. Installation instructions is very important to have so that plumbers know how to put together and how to tighten up the bands. There's always a different sequence to be tightening these bands up, especially when you're going from different materials or different type of pipes, and also even from the same type of pipe when you're going from a fitting to a regular pipe. There's always these min-max, and that's why instructions is important to follow sequence for proper tightening to avoid any type of leaks out in the field. We do have submittal sheets, as you can see here, for these product lines. So this is also available on our website, and it'll tell you all the different types of sizes. It'll tell you give you dimensions. It'll tell you the standards and the physical tests that we perform. So it's very informative. Band seals. So we are certified, obviously, to IATMO file 11464. We also are certified to Canada, which is the B602 per the CSA. ASTM steel is an A240. And obviously the polymer is standard and certified to ASTM C564. The standard for the coupling is C1460. So these are every year they're tested annually by IATMO and by CSA. So we have probably twice a year they'll come by and they'll make sure that we continue to do the right thing, and they take samples and they're tested out. So we have our certification for that, and you can find us on the IATMO website or the CSA, and you can just put our name down and you can see our listing there. If you ever need a copy of the listing, it is available on the IATMO website or the CSA website. Okay, what are some of the features of the band seal? Obviously, it's going to give you a leak-proof seal, anti-corrosive because of the stainless steel. Does give you flexibility, joint movement restraint. Good, withstands tensions, compressions. They do have an internal pipe stop, so it's easy for installation. Obviously, easy to assemble and disassemble and then reuse. And then, we do have everything is calibrated, as the coupling is to be torqued to 60 inch-pounds. So that's a little bit of information on the band seal specialty product. So, if there are any questions regarding that?
Just one quick question coming in here from the chat. I guess it comes down to material type, right? I guess the question seems to be asking, like, is it more, how do you decide which material type, goes first? Because I know some of the couplings, it lists like transition from and to, but not, you can't go the other way. Is that correct?
That's correct. Normally transition is always from cast iron to something different. In commercial construction, in particular, when the majority, I think anything over, I believe it's 4 stories, and in certain cities, it's always cast iron. So anything really above that, they'll be using cast iron. And when they get to the lower floors is when they tend to either connect with some copper or some plastic or anything to that effect. But it's normally always like a cast iron to something else. That's where I've seen the majority of these specialty couplings being used.
So some of the smaller pipe sizes may go from copper to PEX or copper to plastic.
Correct.
Like
yeah.
Okay. Perfect. I think that clears it up. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. So the next line that we partner with ATS is obviously the standard no-hub coupling. This is again also used in commercial and some residential projects throughout the U.S. And I think everybody here knows and knows how the standard no-hub coupling looks. So, what is the standard no-hub coupling? Obviously, shielded couplings. It's also designed for drain, waste, and vent applications, non-gravity. non-pressure and gravity flow. Now this one can be used for above and underground installations. Not like in the previous one, the specialty is only really above ground. This one you can use both above and underground installations. We have multiple sizes. We start from the 1.5 inch diameter and we go all the way. Standard is really 10-inch, but we do have 12-inch and 50-inch diameter available if there's a need for it. Same thing, everything used here is 301 stainless steel. It'll be obviously for the smaller sizes, it's a 2-band. Anything above 5 inches in diameter becomes a 6-band, and I believe 12s and 15s even go up to an 8-band. So because it's a bigger diameter, we take more bands to it. So a gasket per the standard, again, it is an elastomeric sealing gasket, and primary polymer is also polychloroprene. Installation instructions, as you can see here, very important. Every product that you see, we do have these installation instructions. So pretty simple, just pop them in, tighten it up to 60 inch-pounds. You can use a Seacock wrench. You can also use the Milwaukee wrench. I'm name dropping here, but everybody knows those Milwaukee drills, and they're already preset to either 60 or 80 inch-pounds. So they're designed specifically for plumbers to install them properly and not over torque the product. Submittal sheets with all the information, again, all available in our website. So this is all pertaining to the standard no-hub coupling. So this is also obviously certified now to IATMA file 0743. It is also certified to the CSA standard B602. And the rubber, all rubber in all 3 cases is standard C564. But this one is the ASTM standard C1277, which is for the standard no-hub coupling. So it's also certified to the standard, and certification sheets are available. Leak proof, pretty much same thing as the other ones, right? Leak proof seal, anti-corrosive, joint movement. We have a durable synthetic rubber gasket. Same thing, internal pipe stop, easy to assemble and disassemble. So similar to the specialty lines, but this one is really just cast iron to cast iron. So the standard no-hub coupling is only to join cast iron to cast iron. Let's see, I'll go back here. I think that's
Let's bring up just one kind of quick question, I guess. So the band seal originally cast iron to other metals, but could it go cast iron to cast iron if they so chose?
It could, yes.
If so, what is the real impact that you're getting with the standard no-hub coupling versus the band seal? You know, if you were on similar metals, is the no-hub a step above? Is there any differentiation there?
There might be, I mean, when it comes to the water and the testing, there's really not so much a difference. But you know, when you go into cast iron to cast iron, really you're putting either a fitting to a pipe. There are some reducers, which you can do, like a 4x2, a 4x3, 2x1.5. But normally cast iron to cast iron, it's recommended just use the standard no-hub. You know, the specialty line, it's called that way because it's more for those dissimilar type of pipes. The gasket is different. The way it's formed, it's really for those oddball type of connectors. But we recommend just staying with the standard no-hub if you're doing cast iron to cast iron.
Great. And then earlier in the opening, we were talking about all the various applications that these couplings are used in. Where should we think of for the standard no-hub coupling? Like there's surely some limitations, because I know what's coming next as we get into the heavyweight coupling. What applications should we be considering these no-hub couplings for?
I mean, obviously the next one up which is the heavyweight, which is the beefier one. it just depends on the type of project and the cost that you want to put into the project. Standard no-hub couplings, obviously, they withstand less water pressure. They are also only a 2-band instead of a 4. If you have any areas that are more corrosive, let's say if you're closer to a coast or either West Coast, East Coast, or closer to the ocean, the type of steel that it's used. So if you're more in an area that maybe doesn't have a lot of heavy rains, or it doesn't require, maybe it's only a 3-story building or a 4-story building, a no-hub coupling could work. Anything that's a high rise, 50 stories, 60 stories, very high profile job like a stadium or a hospital. I think in those applications, a heavyweight coupling would be better than a standard no-hub.
So the standard no-hub would be great for like your light commercial retail, your highway gas station,
Let's
or
say
anything
a
stories
parking
or
structure, which is might be just 3 stories, 4 stories, which that is not close to a coast. But I think that's kind of like the applications where you can put a standard no-hub coupling.
Perfect. Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Last project, or the last, not project, this last line that we're going to talk about today is the heavy duty coupling, or the heavyweight. Obviously, this is used to withstand increased hydrostatic pressures in the same cast iron hubless pipe systems. So you see some examples here of how things get connected. I remember when I started in the industry, I never knew how many couplings would go in like about a little 10-foot section of pipe. But you see a lot of connectors, a lot of Ys, Ts, elbows. So there's a lot of couplings when it comes to designing a system. Obviously, again, heavy duty couplings designed for cast iron soil pipe and fittings in the drain, waste, and vent applications. It's also non-pressure gravity flow, and it's for above and underground installations. Sizes range from 1.5 inches to 15 inches in diameter. As you can see a little bit of difference there, the clamps are a 304 series stainless steel, so it has more nickel content in the stainless steel. Worm drive is the smallest sizes are 4-inch, and it goes up to a 6-inch clamp, and also I believe the 15-inch can take up to 8 clamps. Our shield is also a heavy-duty 304 series stainless steel. And gasket, it's also an elastomeric sealing gasket, and per the C564 standard, it is polychloroprene as the primary elastomer.
Just before we get into the installation instructions here,
yes,
and maybe you'll cover it during this, a quick question came in regarding insulation. Does the insulation just go over the coupling and piping?
Yes. Now, when it comes to the bracing, I think there's a separate standard. I think mostly a lot of you know maybe the CISP standard, and that they go into more about the bracing in the system and how to brace and where to put a brace within the pipe system. But our installation instructions only cover the coupling, how you're supposed to set it inside the pipe, and the torque sequence of the bands, which is very important. In particular, like I mentioned before, when you're putting a fitting to a pipe, you're going to have a min-max. And we know the fittings, normally the diameters are a little bit bigger, and the pipe diameter, the OD is a little bit smaller. So if you don't follow the right sequence, there's always that risk of either pinching the shield, pinching the gasket, and some water leaks. So installation instruction and how to torque it properly are very important when installing the couplings. So again, this is all on our website. If anybody wants to look into it, they can. We do have also submittal sheets, just like the previous 2 product lines. Standards, we do, again, these couplings are certified to IATMA file. This one's 7816. B602, which is the CSA. That one's across the board. C564, which is the polymer elastomer, same as all previous 2, except this one abides by the ASTM C1540, which is exclusively for the heavyweight type of coupling. All certifications are available if requested. And here's a little comparison. You know, what are the differences between a standard no-hub coupling and a heavyweight? So, standard no-hub couplings, like I said, torque, we only torque to 60 inch-pounds per standard. The Mission heavyweight coupling, you go to 80 inch-pounds. So it's a little bit more of a higher torque. Stainless steel, 301. That's per the standards. It's what they require. That's the minimum. Meanwhile, in a heavyweight, the minimum has to be a 304 type of stainless steel. So higher grade stainless steel for the heavyweight. So this is going to give you better corrosive resistance. Standard no-hub couplings, the shield height is only, you know, it's a narrow shield. So smaller sizes, I think it ranges, I think it's a 2 1/8 high. And the bigger sizes are pretty much, I think, are 3 inches in height. And they might go a little bit higher, but on the heavyweight, the height of the shield is wider, so it's 3 inches and then 4 inches for the bigger sizes. So you do have a little bit more coverage and better band load and better grasp on the pipe. Like I mentioned, 2 to 4 warm drive clamps on the standard, and on the heavyweight is 4 to 6. And one important thing is also the sealing rings inside the gasket. And I'll go back a little bit in one of these pictures here, just so you can see. As you can see on a heavyweight, you see all these, you have these sealing rings right around here. So it's very important that on a heavyweight, we have more of these seal rings. So that's going to create a better grasp to the pipe and avoid any type of potential leaks. Standard no-hub has less sealing rings in it. Because, you know, the water pressure is also for a lower type of water pressure that it needs to withstand. So it's not as required. But our heavyweight, we really give an emphasis on these sealing bands to ensure proper grip and to ensure proper seal within a pipe or fitting. Okay. What are some of the conditions that maybe require heavyweight coupling? Any type of vertical installations where there could be a potential pressure buildup due to a blockage. Like I kind of mentioned, you know, very high profile jobs, a lot of floors, potential for heavy rains, snowfall, that then, you know, there's going to be water coming down the system. So heavyweight coupling is recommended. Environments of high corrosion, if you're on the coast. Also areas of seismic activity, because we are torquing them to 80 inch-pounds. They do have a stronger band load. They do have more clamps than a standard no-hub. So if you're also in a seismic area, heavyweight would be the way to go, because it's going to give you a good solid connection. Same thing, unstable soil conditions, either caused by thermal effects, improper backfill or trench beddings, and high groundwater tables. So heavyweight couplings are recommended for all these, especially on those tasks or projects that are of high importance. You know, stadiums, hospitals, the last thing you want to have is any type of leaks or failures within the system. So heavyweight couplings would be the way to go for these high profile jobs. So what is our mission to you? So, you know, whether it's quality, high performance, you know, products, we give you outstanding customer service, lean manufacturing, continuous improvement. You know, our biggest sustainability concern is you and your business. So, you know, we want to provide you with the best coupling out there. I know there are options, and I'm not going to say that they're not, but there are options. You know, two are here in the United States still. We're the third company, but like I mentioned at the beginning, we are a one-stop shop. You can buy everything from the standard specialty line to the standard no-hub to a heavyweight without having to buy some from this customer, some from this vendor, some from that other vendor. and everything is controlled in-house. So from the raw materials to exceptional quality control, and then, you know, great customer service. Our team here is a great team to work for and to be here. They're very proud in the job. We kind of say they bleed mission blue. And that, you know, they've also they're long tenured. I've have a team member here that's about 40 years with the company. He started when he was about 20 years ago, or when he was 20 years old. And he's been with the company since then, and loves it and can't see himself going anywhere else. And I think that's why Mission is a great company to serve you.
That's
And that's
fantastic.
all I have. I want to thank everybody for your attention. And if there's any questions, we can take those now.
That's wild. That's a fantastic you know, history with the company.
Yes.
40 years is something to be proud of for sure, or for a single person. Yeah, I think to me, one of the interesting things as we've learned more about couplings over, you know, not just the last year, but the years that we've had history with Mission and couplings in general on ATS SpecTool, it is really not just the difference, say, from brand A to brand B. Their heavy duty couplings are going to be relatively equivalent to your heavy duty couplings, but the difference from a heavy duty coupling to allowing, you know, a contractor to, or whoever, to just put whatever they want as some sort of pipe support. I think calling out these specific standards is a really good practice when it comes to this type of product. We do quite regularly see these specified more on a company master and then used as a project comes up, correct? You know, that's really the main push, is make sure a company as a whole is protecting their master, and then they copy that into their individual projects, right?
Right. You are correct.
And certainly knowing the difference in differentiation of the couplings, so that when you have a, you know, if you've not worked on a mental health project like you showed in those installation images, you know, if you haven't done one of those in a while, you may not know that, hey, I really got to dot my T's, cross my I's, and make sure that everything is up to snuff when it comes to the couplings. And we're using something a little bit more heavy duty because you can't really afford the downtime.
Yeah, any type of downtime or any type of failure within the system, because as you know, all these connectors are behind walls, so they're not easy to get to. And if you have any type of failure within the system, it's gonna be a hassle. So, you know, heavyweight couplings, or even standard no hub couplings, and better yet, American made. You know, let's just put it that way, because as everybody knows, there are a lot of imports out there. They do come in, and they don't necessarily abide by all these standards. You know, they might say they do, but we kind of know they don't. But it really depends on the contractor and the engineering firm, and that's why it's important. And our partnership with ATS is to make sure that it's spec'd in. You know, once the specification, they're in the contract, or they're in the specifications, then the contractor has to abide by trying to buy that particular coupling or an equivalent. And that's where ATS comes in. You know, it's like, hey, they might specify our competition, but I like Mission. I want to buy Mission. So what's the equivalent to Mission, right? If I have, you know, XY coupling from Joe Schmo here, which one is the Mission one? And that's where ATS comes in, and we consider a great partnership.
Yeah, well, and on that point, let's show the people how they can find the products that we were talking about today. So again, if this was your first time joining ATS University, thank you for joining us. ATS University is hosted through our ATS SpecTool. It allows architects and engineers to understand the products that are available on the SpecTool in greater detail. If you've never heard of the ATS SpecTool before, it is a product selection and configuration tool that's free for architects, engineers, and design build contractors, among anyone else that really wants to use it. And it's paid for by the manufacturers that support and sponsor the website. It is all login based and tied to your work accounts and allows firms to share projects, masters, and information across their multiple offices. So if you are a WSP, you may obviously have multiple offices. You'd be within your WSP office account, allow you to share projects within your particular location, but then you can share masters across locations as well. That'll all be accessed through clicking the login button here and either signing up or logging in with your account. Before you even log in, there is some information available, kind of call it ungated. We have our templates, which were referenced a little bit during the discussion today when we're talking about different applications. Templates are essentially an ATS recommended product based on application. So we have mechanical room masters, which will include products like we talked about today, where you may want a standard water heater, sump pump, pipe support, piping, and of course couplings to connect all that piping together. That'd be available through the templates, which will bring up something like this and help you understand what products go into a long-term care or multifamily res, hospitality versus high traffic. Lots of great information there, and I'll show you how that integrates into the SpecTool as well. Beyond that, we also have our Learning Hub, which includes the ATS Knowledge Base, which is where you will find some building code breakdowns, recommending barrier-free product and helping you understand the barrier-free requirements for various locations. And most importantly, in my opinion, the webinar recordings. This is where you will find this presentation if you need to refer back to it and any of our recently completed presentations. See a wide variety of topics, everything from detailed product overviews to CEUs to application and kind of industry related discussions like how to write specs in general. Once you log in, you'll be in the dashboard, something like this. You'll have an understanding of how much you've been working on the system. You can see our demo account gets used quite regularly. If anyone can outperform the number of products specified to the demo account, we will be taking you out for a nice steak dinner. And then you have, of course, your quick actions here, where you can create a project, a quick spec, a master, or access any of the previous versions of all those. Those are also available to be accessed here on the left in our blue toolbar, where again, you can get your projects, masters, templates, and quick specs. So let's talk about really shortly the difference between these folders. Essentially, you are creating a folder on the website. That folder is going to have a level of detail, and that level of detail is going to affect what we call a rules engine. A quick spec is just as it sounds. It will, really just has a name. We could call this coupling. There's no location data. There's no application data. Everything is just open and kind of a free-for-all. From there, we can find our coupling category. You can see I pinned it to the top. We've got a ton of different categories on the SpecTool. So we always recommend pinning your favorite category. This will bring it to the top for your repeat selections. You can, of course, filter your categories and search your categories as well. Or if you know a specific model number, you can search by model number. All of that's built in, not to mention even the cross-reference tool, but we won't have time for that today. We'll just go into our coupling category where we see the various couplings that we discussed, including our heavyweight, no hub, and the band seal. Let's do a quick heavyweight coupling. Let's say we're doing a 4-inch. We fill out our selections and hit add product. Now we also see that as we have made our selections, the kind of key aspect of ATS is kicked in. We've updated our model number to exactly the model that we've selected. It's not a generic base model that you get from the manufacturer's website. You get the list price, which is embedded throughout the site for as much as possible. You can, of course, access the spec sheet from the manufacturer, all within the spec site. All of this is living in one place. That's kind of the key of ATS, is bringing a number of different services into one location. Once we're done, we can download this, and we can download it in a number of different formats. We could download a submittal sheet similar to what we just saw The manufacturer spec sheet, which, as it calls out, is going to be the manufacturer spec sheet version. These, again, are going to be specific to the model you've specified. A schedule, which to my understanding, you can't really find anywhere else. Long spec, short spec, CSI 3-part spec in Word, matching any of the industry standard documentation that you may be paying for at other spec selection or product selection software tools. And then, of course, the Revit files for anything on our site that you may be able to find in, say, a BIM object or anything like that. So all of those different aspects of product selection are all available within the one ATS site. Now I'm going to cancel out of that because the other piece I do want to show is creating a project. So let's talk quickly about the difference between quick spec, project, and master again. Quick spec, as we saw, no application, no location. That's the difference of a project. You fill out your location in your application, and it's going to start recommending product based on that. That's similar for a master. A master is optional to have a state or province, but we do require a country. We have the optionality to include an application, but we do recommend it unless it's more of a generic application, like we have some people that have drainage masters. And a master would be great for anything you are doing repeat work on. If you have a chain of restaurants, if you have a owner group for a condo owner, if you have a standard tenant fit out selection, that's where this comes in, because the efficiency that it will give you as you are making those selections and building out the rest of your project is immense. This is a project I put together just before our webinar here. We've got a mission coupling webinar demo, location, Toronto, Ontario, healthcare facility, mental health care application. We've gone through and added a mission heavyweight coupling, which obviously we talked about during the presentation today is the correct version. Now I've added an incorrect toilet here. This would not be a toilet for a mental health application, but did want to show what we call our fixture chain. You can see I've got all the different aspects of a toilet for barrier-free applications in this fixture chain. If I delete our coupling, we can then go and revise and re-add that product by editing the last fixture in the chain. So if we go into this category, we will see it populates our carrier again. We'll add product, and it'll bring me back to that coupling phase. So the couplings can be specified a couple of ways. You can either specify it individually, the coupling on its own, or as part of the fixture chain. And this will be recommended anytime it's appropriate. So in this case, we have a back wall carrier toilet. We want to make sure there's a strong connection from the carrier to your drainage piping. Now, if we want to add to this, I talked about masters earlier. We have already covered, if we hit the create new drawing button, it takes us to our categories page. But if we go back to the project and we go to our add drawings from masters and templates, this brings up what is honestly my favorite feature that we've recently added to the site. This is what we call our masters quick access drawer. This allows you to simply drag and drop from any of your masters. You can see our demo has a ton of different masters here, or from the recommended ATS templates, where we have essentially our recommendations for applications. So if we look at the drainage master here, and we go to, say, the piping and support specialties category, you can see we've got a heavy duty and a standard coupling. We can drag and drop both of these. If we need additional pipe supports, we can grab those as well. And we'll just hit this, that drags all of these over into the project that we have open. We can also put it into a brand new product group. A lot of variation, versatility built into the system now. And in a matter of seconds, minutes, you can have an entire project put together. If you have masters pre-set up, which is what I'm here to help you out with. If you have a master for your condo, for your pharma, for any of your owner groups, you could build out all of your fixtures, all of your different mechanic room, anything else in a matter of minutes, just by dragging and dropping and then revising to any of your specific site requirements. Very simple and easy to do. It improves the efficiency and your time on the system, and make sure that your entire team is working off of an approved set of fixtures. Once you're done, you hit the download button, you'll get a folder just like this, where we've got all the various mission coupling webinar demo, all the various applications that we downloaded. And then of course it would come up looking like this. So we've got our master, our manufacturer spec sheet format, gives you a nice table of contents, shows you the submittal page like we talked about during the presentation. And you can see the similar format here for the toilet fixture that we discussed. We've got the submittal format, which again is going to show you the marked off selections that you've made. We've got the Excel spreadsheet where, again, you have it either embedded as an accessory as part of the fixture chain or the individual accessory schedule. We've got our written specs. This is what we call our ATS format. This is our long spec, which gives you all the detail that you would need to specify. It follows the format that's been long-standing for ATS since our inauguration in '69 from Lou Petro. Covers kind of the details that he laid out on how he recommended the spec be written. We have all the important details here of the product and of course the standards that it needs to meet. And then if your office uses more of the 3-part spec, the CSI master spec format, we have a format that matches that, where we have that same verbiage. And of course, there are bases of design here, Mission Heavyweight Series. And this could be copied and pasted and put into your master or copied into your individual project file. Lastly, of course, the Revit and everything else as well. But I don't have Revit on the machine, so I can't really show that here. But yeah, that's the intro to couplings on ATS, and more importantly, as important in my opinion, is the Masters Quick Access drawer. If you have not added your Masters to your ATS spec account yet, and have not been using the drag and drop from the Masters Quick Access drawer, then honestly, you're not using the system to its full potential. If you would like to learn more about that and help getting your master set up on the system, please reach out to me, Zach@ATSspec.com. I'll have either myself or any of my team work with you to get your master set up on there. And if Mission Heavyweight couplings are not on your master, I think we've learned today that you're making a mistake. So thank you very much for your time, everyone. Thank you for the great presentation, Renee. I learned a lot. Which is always why I love these. I get to do these every week, and I learn something from every one of them.
That's correct, and I want to thank everybody for taking their time. Some of you even during your lunchtime, to be part of this presentation. And just remember, mission, kind of like what we say in our little slogan. It's connected for good. Yeah, not just connecting pipes, but also connecting business relationships. So. Thank you, everyone, and appreciate your time. And thank you, ATS, for this opportunity.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. And again, if you do need help getting your master set up, please reach out to me. And if you'd like to learn more about Mission and whether or not you should add it to your masters, we'll be happy to have our team reach out. Have a great rest of the day, all. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.